Space is a place that we can advance every field of science. What excites me the most about the future of Australia's space industry is that we can also use space as such a visible field to uplift the aspiration of a nation, of the world, of a next generation, and remind us that we're all in this together, and it's important to look after each other and our planet. I'm Katherine Bennell-Pegg, Aussie astronaut at the Australian Space Agency. I have the honour of being the first astronaut to officially represent Australia and being 2026 Australian of the Year. For me, becoming an astronaut was a childhood dream, and it's been a long road, and becoming an astronaut, qualifying as one, is also just a new beginning. I was drawn to this dream by being inspired by looking up at the sky, and when I learnt that some of those stars were entire worlds that no one had ever seen up close with their own eyes, as a kid that just sounded like the most incredible adventure. But then I grew up a bit and I fell in love with science and discovery, and wanted to be in space for helping to create new knowledge. Astronaut training was as fun and as intense as you can imagine. I went through the training with 5 others in our class called the Hoppers. And when you're selected to represent your country as an astronaut, you're not called an astronaut right away. You're called an astronaut candidate, or ASCAN, which is kind of a mean word, and you go through basic training or ASCAN training. And if you get through that gauntlet, then you get your astronaut wings, which I have here, and you can call yourself an astronaut and you're ready for mission assignments to the space station or even the moon. Astronaut training is super broad, because to be in space you need to be able to do a lot of different jobs, and to become an astronaut you can have a background in almost any STEM field. So they need to take people from all these different backgrounds to have the same qualification at the end. Everyone brings something different to the table, and what I learned from that was how many areas Australia could contribute to for the global astronaut training if we want to, and where there's gaps in capability globally in space exploration where we could apply our strengths. It's hugely humbling and a deep honour to become an Honorary Doctorate of the University of Swinburne. You know, Swinburne does incredible breakthroughs and enables discovery, and it gives people across Australia as well that courage to dare, no matter their background or postcode or gender. And so what Swinburne does is something I've long admired, and I look forward to furthering the relationship with Swinburne and building the future together. For young people that are considering careers in hard technical pursuits, I would say absolutely go for it without hesitation. You know, to be empowered with the knowledge to be able to solve problems you care about, to be able to find solutions that excite you, to unlock mysteries of the universe is incredibly special. There's a saying that the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. And I think that's exactly true. If you can keep stoking that, you'll be able to get the energy and the motivation separate from ego to get through what can at times be a slog studying these subjects. But by keeping your eye on what you might be able to contribute one day, you'll be able to get through any tough work, and that'll help you to find your own path and write your own story.